They hail from around the globe, and though separated by oceans, they gather in the virtual world for reasons as varied as their locales. Whether it's a defending champion looking to retain his title, a new and eager hopeful striving for recognition, or a legend prepared to recapture past glory, in the end, the one goal they all share is to win. But when naming a victor, only one driver's name can be etched into the record books. You're watching the Heusinkveld MX-5 World Tour.
Darkness surrounds this series tonight as, for the first time this season, we go under the floodlights. As well, it's worth saying that this circuit has also got a habit of going bump in the night, and our destination is going to be very, very interesting. While a certain track on the northern border is trying to one-up this ex-airfield, it is Sebring that brings us to round 9 of the Heusinkveld MX-5 World Tour on iRacing Live and the Global Sim Racing channel, sponsored this event by SimSport News. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Global Sim Racing channel Countdown to Green, and to a series which may serenade you with stories by candlelight, but may induce nightmares shortly after. I, though, am #DoYouMind, the observer of sim racing, Jake Sperry, making sure a lot of carrots have been ingested to have better vision in the murky darkness. Lantern ready at my side is Bill Soupzahn, who shall be making sure that we can find our way out of Florida. Joe Peak is back behind the cameras after a visa issue getting into Japan, while Dougie Beard slinks into the night, leaving just his cameras as a trace of his existence. But Sebring holds a lot of holding in series such as IMSA and really stands out as a unique circuit in comparison to a lot of other American-based tracks. For the MX-5s, will this be an adjustment from the norm, especially in the suspension department?
Yeah, you know, with the addition of Bell Island now to the iRacing service, Sebring might lose the distinction of the bumpiest track. Nevertheless, the transitions between the old and new surface can be indeed very bumpy, especially as they work through sunset. You know, it was the last day of 1950, a 6-hour enduro on a makeshift course marked with hay bales took place, and Sebring International Raceway was born. The classic American circuit and host of the annual 12 Hours of Sebring endurance race, this place is now a 3.7-mile road course with 17 official corners. Various sections of the course have been repaved. They did it in 83, 87, 91, and 99, leaving only a tick under a mile of the original concrete. But again, this place is still very bumpy. And to get a feel about how rough this very flat racetrack is, let's go ahead and take a lap around the Cathedral of American Motorsports, Sebring.
All right, we've got Amjad Yaman in the GSRC MX-5, so let's do a lap around Sebring. Across the start-finish line down to turn 1, be prepared for a bumpy ride. Literally. This is a fast, blind, sweeping corner, and if you haven't got the car set up to handle it, good luck. Also, watch out for the exit because the track narrows significantly, and it's pretty common to see drivers off in the dirt. From there, it's a short burst to 3, which can sometimes offer another chance to pass. But make sure not to early apex this bend, because you'll need the wide entry into 4 and 5, which is a fiddly little technical section of the track. 5 is another late apexer, and probably much more critical. You'll see it dumps you onto Big Bend, which is easily flat out in the little MX-5. It's also a nice long acceleration zone down into the heavy braking of the hairpin, so a slow exit from 5 means a likely attack into 7. Make sure and spot your brake marker because it's pretty easy to come in too hot. Also, watch out for how the track weaves on exit, since some side-by-side action with another car could cause you two to make contact. From there, you're flat to the floor for quite a while yet again through turns 8 and 9. You'll basically just want to straighten these out and then hold to the left for Cunningham. The inside curb can really unsettle the car, so try not to get too greedy with it. Now the circuit takes you right into Collier, which is admittedly less scary in the underpowered MX-5 when compared to higher-end race cars. But it's narrow, and if you find yourself door-to-door with an opponent, it can get sketchy. The braking for Tower, though, is just as awkward as it is in any car. Make sure to keep it off that tall inside curb, which is going to bounce you all over the place. After the exit, just drift the car back across to the right and do your best to make one smooth, wide arc out of Bishop. Once again, it isn't hard at all in this car, but it's all about setting up for the braking zone for Jean Dembien. Hug the inside of each corner here for the best possible entry into Le Mans. If you find yourself getting offline, it's really going to hurt your lap time. This truly is the most important corner of the whole lap, with it leading onto the longest straightaway. Even with a great launch, the draft is bound to keep your competitors close, so there's no guarantees in a nice run off the turn. Whatever the situation, if you find yourself too wide at the end of this stretch, you gotta weigh whether it's worth the risk to fight it out. The entry to Sunset has a quick kink, making the car very unstable under braking. Then, mid-corner carries some nasty bumps. If you manage to get yourself around to the exit, congratulations, you survived. But as you come across the line, you've now finished a lap around Sebring.
The GSRC MX-5 then grinding the gears around this majestic Sebring complex. But more important things are at stake right now. 5 races left in the championship, and a picture that may as well have 5 graffiti artists waiting to add to the kaleidoscope of colour. Soup, 2 championships are undecided.
Yeah, it took him 7 races to do it, but the Roland Estonian finally on race number 8 picked up the first win of the season. Man, he has been consistent. Nothing but podiums all the way, and most of those have been second-place finishes. He jumps ahead of Sonny Catch Me If You Can't, the 3-time champion, looking to go pick up his 4th. Those 2 championships well out in front. Look at the interval between them, only 23 points. I'm going to give you a couple numbers to remember. We'll talk about it a bit later. Mark these down on your clipboard, boys and girls. 20 and 34. We'll talk about that a bit later. In 3rd place, Travis Swenke, well back, 192 points back. And then the man who continues to impress, the rookie, Jason Cooper, got on the overlay a few rounds ago and now moves up past Gene Fittis, only 2 points off a podium spot. Look at that man from the UK moving up. And Gene Fittis, again, the New Zealand, the Kiwi down there, sitting in 5th. Let's go ahead and look at the AM Championship, and it is indeed Steven Van Opstroll. He sits 6th overall in the standings. Look for him to be promoted up into the pros. Not sure what the series officials are going to do with Adam McNally and Anwar Burrell-Smith. Those guys sit 9th and 10th in the overall standings as well. Close battle back there for second, only 10 points separating those 2 drivers from the UK. The UK is represented again with Bambi sitting there in 4th position. And then the Netherlands has Joep Wilmanson.
A lot of things can change in the coming weeks. But one thing certainly that won't change and has not changed and will not change will be the rule soup. The well, trademark, has returned.
And, oh, there we go. I'm sorry, I got cut off. I lost Jake there for a minute. Hey, talk about not changing. On page 17 of the GSRC Commentator's Handbook, it says the viewers can read. So while we show that graphic, let me talk about a couple other things here. This is a 12-race regular season. I know it says 13, but it's really 12. After 12, everything freezes. No-show compensation, miles per incident bonus, points, perfect attendance bonus. That's all locked in. And that sets the stage for the no-drop, double-distance, double-points Grand Prix. I believe that's going to be at Imola this year. Now, I talked about those points before, 20 and 34. Well, that's as close as you need to be. There's a 20-point difference between first and second in that finale, and a 34-point difference between first and third. So if you're relatively close, you got a chance at it. Anywhere within 150 points, and you have a chance to pick up the championship at the end, because the MWT is all about drama. You can see the rest of the stuff is all the same. We're going 18 laps today. We're looking for 1 pit stop as normal.
As per usual, qualifying then currently underway. 10 minutes and 2 laps to get the times in. A smaller field today though, Soup. We're in week 13. We're right in the thick of it. So maybe it's the time that drivers decide they back out of their championships. They decide that it's time to shut down a little bit, take a week off. But the first time's looking to come in this 13-car field. Lucky for some, Steven Van Opstroll is currently the first man who will look to set a flying lap.
Well, let's talk about the small field for a minute. It's summertime, some summertime. You combine that with The night is dark and full of terrors, and I think that's probably why we have such a small field here. So you guys who are new to the MWT, you might think this is a great opportunity for some drivers to pick up some big points because of the small field. You're guaranteed no worse than 13th. Well, no. The MWT guys, these series officials are pretty slick as they use a rationed point system. You get 100 points for winning, you get 25 points for finishing last, and then they spread it out equally. So it doesn't matter on the size of the field. Where if disaster happens, you're going to get hit the same. What is different, though, is every position, because of the small field, those points are going to be larger. So if you pick up, you move from 7th to 8th, well, it might only be a couple points on a normal-sized field. It's going to be about 7 or 8 points here today.
Van Opstal is the fastest after the opening lap, and that's a scary prospect. The amateur could just cement himself as a pro for next season if he puts himself up on pole position. His lap time, his second one, will not go any faster. He's 2/10 clear of Artem Karolski in second, 3/10 clear of Iru Nom, half a second clear of the Gene Fittис, and he's also 8/10 of a second clear of Sonny Kanchan in the Asbury Motorsports machine. We expect him to make some charges through the field. This is an interesting qualifying. This second lap means absolutely everything. And right now, the first driver who will cross the line out of those who are looking to chase shall be the Genie himself here, Sue.
We talked about the small field, but as Jake went through some of the names that are here today, 4 out of the top 5 guys on that top 5 overlay are here. The only one missing is Dory Travis Swenke. So the big names
and
of
Jason
Ketchen
Cooper.
And Num.
And Jason
Oh,
Cooper.
you know, you're correct. I'm surprised to see Jason Cooper's not there. That's right.
So there we go. There's drivers that aren't here and looking to try and take some no-show compensation. But Gene Fittис now heading through the Le Mans section here, looking for the Ullman straight, using all of the circuit going outside of the white lines. You are allowed to do that. Open up the corner. Just make sure you don't do it too much then as Fittis looks to charge. And I think that's going to be the end of that one. Yes, most certainly, as he's weaving his way down the back stretch, looking for Sunset Bend. So second lap times then will look to start coming in. Derek Holland looking to improve on 10th position. He needs to find a full 1.4 seconds. It's not often that you need to find 1.4 seconds for a brand new position, but Derek Holland, what can you do? What, 2:27.3? That's going to be a 2:27.5. Not going to go any quicker. Bay State Hammer Tom Ratchey, though, moves up into 7th with a 2:26.5. Fittis' time won't count. Kanchan's, though, keep an eye on this. He wants to move past Iru Nom. Championship implications here in qualifying. Crosses the line, 2:25.192. That's not good enough. Unable then to improve time. Now Karolski, look at the 63. What's he going to be able to do? Nothing down on the lane. All eyes then turn to Iru Nom, who will not go any quicker in this qualifying. And I think for the first time that I've seen it here, Soup, we're going to have an amateur on pole.
Yeah, what do you know? And talking about amateurs, what caught me by surprise when I forgot about Cooper being here, I was thinking, well, the amateur's represented by Artem Karolski, but he's going to be sitting in 3rd position. Look at that, Kanchan in 2nd, Num down in 4th. Of course, this field is small. We should be okay. And this should be a pretty heavy draft track today. Boy, we have a backmarker shout-out with only 13 drivers. That's not going to take too long. Kip Stephen not be able to put in a qualifying time, as did Adam McNally.
Nope, the pair of them have not yet put a time in, but Kip Stevens can. Got a little bit of time to go. The hair flick looking for opportunities. He heads through Cunningham and now looking for Tower Corner at the right hand and 90 degrees. Hope to get the power down quickly, and he does. He's got a minute from here. This is going to be a bold challenge to get home and dry within a minute here, Soup, because he's got to get himself all the way to Sunset Bend. But this is the fastest part of the circuit as he heads now for Le Mans.
And one of the Baker Dozens drivers that is here today, Steve Clays, he's going to have to come in and make a stop-and-go penalty. He's been a little naughty. He's got on the wrong side of the steward, so look for him to stop and go somewhere in the first couple laps to pay that price.
35 seconds remain then for Kip Stevens as he goes to 150 kilometers an hour, winding up the power. 165, 170, 175 as he had a little blip changing gears. 20 seconds remain. Sunset Bend, right-hander. Use the cones there as your guide as you look to now head yourself onto the brakes, looking to just ease his way around the corner. 10 seconds remain. Wants to put a time in and move up from 13th position. 5 seconds remain. It's a long charge to the line, and he will just about get his time in, but it won't count because he did run off track. Grid as follows. Steven Van Opstal then, pole position, 2:25.059 on the Heusinkveld starting grid, joined with Sonny Kanchin on the front row. Artem Korolski will start from third with Irunom in fourth. The Gene Fittис will start fifth with Stefan Overgaard in sixth. The Bay State Hammer, Tom Ratchey, seventh with Derek Holland eighth. Bjorn de Forsch will start ninth, and Steve Clays makes 10.
Big crumbs here. Sarah Dove was late to practice. She only put in a 2:29.6. She's going to be more competitive once the race starts. She's going to start in 11th position. Then the two drivers that did not put in qualifying times, Adam McNally and Kip Stevens in the Baker's Dozen spot.
Well, there's 13. 2 minutes to grid up. A place known as Pit Road awaits those who don't. Maybe it's just going to be one of those races. I don't think we'll see any traffic play a factor. It is a very, very long lap when you've got a 150-second lap that we have around here, 145. It's going to be a very tall order to put a lap down on your opponents, especially with only 18 laps available here today. Now, talk about stark contrast as well for the Amateur Championship. You've got Van Opstal on the pole, and you've got Adam McNally pretty much sidled at the back of this field. He will start from dead and last in 13th place overall. So a lot of work left to do for him, as it was sported up by iRating then to finish off the final two positions. But still, though, for Steven Van Opstal, it's unfamiliar territory. Would you want to, as the amateur category leader, get involved with the likes of Sonny Kanchin, Iru Nom? Engine notes rise, though. 18 laps is underway, and it's a good start from Kanchin, not so good from Van Opstal. They fan left and right around as Korolski looks to go for the aggressive down the middle, very similar to how Hakkinen did in 2000 against the driver of Michael Schumacher, as they now look for turn number one. This big bend, looking through this left-hander that always shrinks down. It's whole shot for Artem Korolski, and that was not ideal. Battle for fourth then looks to intensify as Nom's under pressure from a Genie.
One amateur with a bad start, one amateur with a great start is Korolski, or at least a rookie, up to the very front. They get settled down behind. Fittis drops into fifth, into fourth. Num happy in fifth, just ahead of Overgaard.
Yeah, just ahead, and Stefan Overgaard will be very happy with his positioning and making sure that he's just trying to make some early positions, going very, very aggressively. But of course, this circuit, in terms of other circuits, is very difficult to get right, especially when you've got the darkness that makes a factor. Hardly any lighting around this circuit at all. And you will see here, Soup, that there's a lot of abilities to go through. And we've had an incident. Yes, Derek Holland and Sarah Dubden at the back of the train. In fact, just Derek Holland on his own. So,
and that was I think it was Steve Clay who got into him, and Clay, remember, has that stop and go penalty for being a bit naughty. I know how the rules work. He may be missing a race coming up pretty soon.
Well, the ace of spades may have just drawn 7 deuce then in that scenario. So for Steve Clay, that's going to be a disaster. But at the front, it's Artem Korolski from Kanchin, Van Opstal, Gene Fiddis, Iru Nom, Stefan Overgaard, your top 6, and a Bay State Hammer in 7th in the form of Tom Ratchey. But this front 7 doesn't really have the chance to afford to make some packs. And for Iru Nom, it has been a surprising day for Iru Nom, as he's struggled really to try and get any pace out of the machine. I almost argue that he's been a little bit too liberal with this championship. Yes, he's got the lead. Yes, you can just play for points, but this is an Iru Nom here, Soup, that we're talking about. That should be up there and should be up there trying to stay within a second. He is struggling as the bridge between the divide. Gene Fiddis is looking here at Van Opstal in front, who goes to the inside of Sonny Kanchin.
Yeah, earlier this season, Num got into it with Fiddis, so he might be giving him a little bit of room. That Overgaard is a new name, although he's a veteran here in this series, new to Num, so maybe he's given some room there. Probably doesn't mess around much with Van Opstal or Korolski.
Well, here we go, up and under. Here comes back Sonny Kanchin.
Num's to the pits.
And Iru Nom, oh, dear me. So that would probably be a jump at the start then. That's why he'd come down onto the lane to make that stop. He's now fighting from behind for the entirety of this race. So Van Opstal now maybe needing to do a favour for Iru Nom. They remain side by side as they head their way to turn 3. Small kink right of 2. On the brakes then for 3. Van Opstal on the outside, Kanchin pinched to the inside, unable to make that move. But look at the gap now that Artem Korolski is able to pull. It's over a second for the first time.
Look at the rookie start to distance themselves. Yeah, 1.3 seconds. Then you got the amateur champion, Van Opstroll, in second. Kanchin happy back there in third, ahead of Fittis and Overgaard. Clay is going to have to make his pit stop in sixth position. Then it's a long way back to Stevens and DeForce. I'm looking for the Bay State Hammer. My gosh, way back in ninth, just ahead of Sarah Dove and Derek Holland, who's already been around.
That Bay State Hammer has had himself a few issues then, and that's why he's dropping back. Here comes Fittis, though, looking to attack Sonny Kanchin on the run to Cunningham Corner. They just came through Fangio, but Gene Fittis is not going to make that move. Progression Racing Australia may be in a little bit of turmoil at the moment, can be said here, Soup. They lost their best driver over the last couple of weeks, and Gene Fittis is maybe a little bit restless at the moment as a driver, wanting to try and step up and prove he can be the #1 driver at PRA.
Of course, racing out of New Zealand, the island just off of that continent there, as he's trying to make a move now on Ketchen, the Australian.
Well, no love lost between the pair of them two, and, well, maybe Gene Fittis will say that Australia will say 6, and maybe New Zealand will say 7, and he'll be very happy using that to his advantage. But into the Oldman Straight they come along once again. Van Opstal then at the front of the train. Kanchin needs as many points as he can on a certain Iru Nom. Nom, all on his own, will try and chase down the pack of Holland and Dove and Ratchie and Stevens and DeForce. But right now, side by side between Kanchin and also Van Opstal once more. Kanchin liking that inside line, makes the position early, but up and under attempts coming. Gene Fittis will pick the pocket of Stephen Van Opstal out of relative nowhere, and he just got caught a little bit napping. He was trying to set the up and under up, Soup, but look at this. He'll get the run off the exit, though. They're side by side to 1.
Look how Fittis left the inside open into one. Great momentum out of Sunset for Van Opstal, and I think he's going to be able to finish the deal. Although on the outside, the New Zealand driver might be able to keep it running. They're still side by side.
They still are on the run to 3. We saw how the outside worked for Van Opstal 1 lap ago, lap 3 of 18, and a big around the outside mistake there for Fittis. He's going to have to cut back on in front of Overgaard, and Overgaard's going to look to the inside at 5. You don't often do it there, and he's unable to make that work. So mistakes are plenty happening around the track. But this next pack, keep an eye on this one. Bjorn DeForce, Kip Stevens, Tom Ratchie, Sarah Dove, Derek Holland, all of them looking for position, and just looking at Tom Ratchie's machine, no damage on it, so the Asbury car is looking to go forward, but it's trying to get past Kip Stevens. Always a very difficult challenge. It's like an elephant that never forgets to.
Steve Clays with the spin. He was able to serve a stop-and-go penalty. Errol Num just gets by him. These guys are way in the back. Num now moves up into 11th position. Clays falls back to 12 after serving his penalty. I should report that Adam McNally, who's in the amateur championship hunt, did not start today.
Oh, and that's going to be a lot of points then going away, and Van Opstal only needs to finish then as he looks to try and charge a way forward. Gap at the front up to 2.2 seconds. But now Kanchin has one modus operandus, and that is chase. As now Kip Stevens still under pressure from the Bay State Hammer into Tower Corner. This big right-hander. And right now, Ferracci, pick them off one at a time. Get past Stevens, then DeForce, and then start thinking about your own race. But already 8 seconds back as he is held as they make the run through Bishop, and now looking for the Le Mans section.
Look at that right now. We thought that the Bay State Hammer was a little farther back than he should be, working on the back of Kip Stevens. I think Kip might have been last season's Rookie of the Year. I'm not correct about that. Jake, you might know that, remember that one, but he certainly had a good run as he's trying to run up on the back of Bjorn DeForce.
Yes, and here comes Kip Stevens then. He'll go to the outside to try and make this happen. DeForce, a very early and deliberate move to the inside, just trying to show his hand, make life easy here in the MWT for Stevens. And, well, Stevens will have to go the aggressive long way around, and he'll cut the line now off the exit, try and pick the power up, but gets a little bit hung out there with the line that was taken by Bjorn DeForce. And like a tour of force, you're going to see Tom Ratchie, the Bay State Hammer, look to swing for the fences and go for the outside then on Kip Stevens as down onto the lane comes a certain driver. That's Gene Fittis coming in early after just 4 laps. So bold attempt, and there's contact, and round goes the pair of them. Thread the needle, Derek Holland. He does just about, but with a tap, Sarah Dove gets around it as well.
Looking at that one, Ratchie took a dive into the apex, but leaving room on the inside for Stevens. Stevens' car drifts. He can't keep it tight to the inside line. and he catches in Ratchy's left rear and spins him around. Watch the car on the inside. Does not hold a tight line, at least from my initial view. Lets you get a good look at it here. We'll see it.
Yeah, we certainly will see it. And looking at Stevens, he's in 5th gear, looking to try and hit the brakes. And he goes to hit the brake, he goes to turn, and it's just understeer. He's turning the wheel, but the vehicle's not going to turn with him. The vehicle very much there, so it was almost just dead straight, just carrying too much speed, maybe even out-braking himself a little bit.
Getting a piece of that is Derek Holland, who honestly should race for the Netherlands. I've never appreciated that. But he's now moving up into 6th position. Even though he got a little bit piece, he's in good shape. Run ahead, Sarah Dove.
Yep, and what's going to be very crucial as well is the fact that Iru Nom is now even closer to the likes of Stevens and Ratji, so just making Nom's life a little bit easier. You've got Steve Clays right now under pressure. Here's the Gene Fittis, who came down on lap 4 of the event. It's an aggressive strategy to come down on lap 4, and he will get himself to the inside and hopefully make this move if he just about manages it, and he does. So Steve Clays, not much he can do about it, but he's going to fight back here, and I don't know if this is wise for Steve Clays. Gene Fittis is an incredibly quick driver, and he pretty much saddles his way through at Tower.
Look back here, this is 6th position. This is a nice battle. This is Derek Holland and Sarah Dove. I think Holland might have just got around Dove to make that. Nope. Here it comes. This is the pass being made right now. This is Sarah going to pick that up.
Easy as you like. A good smile for the Hatsune Miku machine. And Sarah Dove comfortably makes a position. So Derek Holland, you may sit, you may wait, you may stay behind for now. But look at who is trying to chase you down at 2-3 seconds a lap faster. Gap at the front, 1.9 seconds then for Sonny Kanchin. Did a 2:25.3 matched for Artem Korolski, and it's not often that we see Sonny Kanchin having to fight from behind in a series like this. He's normally out there dominating from the front in races like these, and that's a certain trait that I have seen from a lot of sim racers now over the last year. It seems that all the top drivers have always had that ability to carve out a race from the front. It seems that is the way that we measure a great sim racer in 2018.
Absolutely, and right now the man doing all the carving with the sharp knife is Artem Korolski. You know, we didn't talk much about the weather because it's night, but I guess it kind of does play a factor here today. You see the track temperature to air temperature is the same. That's not surprising. But what was interesting is there's a bit of a wind, and I wonder if maybe that's bothering some of the cars that have damage. Maybe like Derek Holland might not be racing as well as he did before. That car's been around a couple times.
Well, there's a northern wind blowing, so 20 kilometers an hour from there is never going to be very useful. Keep an eye on Holland, though. Just unable to hold the line then as they head into the hairpin, and now heading their way to the Fangio chicane, which isn't really a chicane too much here, Soup. It's just an elongated couple of sweepers.
Well, they have windmills in Holland, so you would think that Derek should be okay with the wind. Racing now in 7th. Kip Stevens back there in 8th position. Quite a bit back, 2 seconds to get up to that one. Tom Ratchy, after his spin, still out there. Still going, the Bay State Hammer, still nailing it.
Still nailing it indeed, but nailing it you have to do on every single corner of the 18 laps. We're heading towards lap 6, 1/3 distance in this event, and that's when we traditionally get to say, Soup, that the pit stop window is open. Drivers like Fittis came down in on lap 4, which is incredibly early for my taste, but right now, for Artem Korolski, Sonny Kanchin, Stephen Van Opstal, that gap seems to be just clawing back in a little bit more. Van Opstal's doing well to stay onto the rear of Sonny Kanchin, but right now, Korolski, that gap does not look 1.9 anymore.
Yeah, I gotta think there's something askew with the Fittis stop. My guess would be maybe he forgot to put in race fuel and he was out there still with qualifying levels. I'm not sure if he can get to the end from where he did. I honestly haven't run the last, but usually Jake talked about it. It's usually the middle third is when the window opens. We'll see if Fittis has to stop again. We look at the 3-time champion, Sonny Kanchin. My goodness, he's now got that interval down to under a second. He starts to run down Korolski in front.
That was more mistakes from Korolski more rather than the pace of Sonny Kanchin. Just looking at Kanchin's last couple of laps or so, he managed to do himself a 2:25.3, a 2:25.3, and then a 2:24.9 on that last lap. Followed up behind was Van Opstal, who did 2:25.5, 2:25.1, and then a 2:24.9 of his own. For Korolski, it was a 2:25.5, a 2:25.3, and then a 2:25.8 his slowest lap apart from the opening lap where they went from a standing start. So for Kowalski, it seems that he's falling backwards at the moment. Just didn't have the lap that he wanted to, and now that puts him under pressure from Sonny Kanchin. When you have a lead, you need to consolidate it. Drivers like Kanchin will not give you second chances.
Yeah, I hate to get away from this one, but let's see if Sonny can wait just a bit while we go back and check in on Kip Stevens and Tom Ratchey. Just because Ratchey, you talked about an elephant with a memory. Well, here these two guys are, they've already been together once. Now the Bay State Hammer right behind Kip Hairflick Stevens.
Hey, batter, looking for the inside, then coming out of Fangio, and I think Stevens is going to let him have it, is he? Down the inside, down the outside, yep. Batter, swing up a position, so the Bay State Hammer makes sure that he gets one working, and I think he'll be very happy that Golden State managed to sweep the Cavaliers over the course of the NBA in the finals, but right now, more important pressing things at stake. He's got to chase back Holland and Dove, who are already exploring a gap of 3-4 seconds in front. Work to do there for the Bay State Hammer.
Dove looking to get her first top 5 in the MWT. One of the opportunities that a small field does for, even though the points are still rationed out equally, you can give the claim to picking up a top 5.
You can, but some may argue, though, in exactly the same sense that you put a little bit of an asterisk there. The field maybe wasn't quite as strong as it would be. Kanchin then, gap across the line, was a second. It's now down to just 3/10 as he looks to angle for a way into turn number 1. 225 won that last time by unable to go and make that move on the number 63 machine, hailing out of Central Eastern Europe, Artem Korolski. Pressure then comes into turn number 3. Kanchin's going to sit and wait because he's not in a position to dive and make a move. He knows better than anybody else. If you get involved in an incident, you have to make sure that you are safely making your way around us. For now, he knows that he's got this opportunity coming up next through Big Bend of 6 and on the power looking for turn number 7 as well. Dives big to the inside, trying to get in the mirrors as he now hits the brakes. He never had an intention there, Sue, of making that move. Just wanted to scare maybe Kowalski into a mistake.
Well, if Sonny's a smart guy, if he knows the history of Artem, and that is just stay behind him because Kowalski has yet to figure out how to make a decent pit stop here in the MWT. You know, we ride on board with Sonny Kanchin right now from Australia. Let's talk about his region mate, Gene Fittis. Well back, you know, he had that stop. We think now that it might have been a connection issue as he's having a lot of hard time being connected racing out of New Zealand.
Yes, he is, and he's had traditional issues with that in the past, so we make sure, or we hope that he makes sure that he can get that sorted towards the end. But right now, leading training of 3, Stefan Overgaard in 4th, and talking about top 5s here, Soup. Bjorn de Forsch currently holding a very good position, but he has to be careful. He's only got 10 seconds to Irunom in 10th place, and you're thinking, why am I talking about the battle, the difference between 5th and 10th? There is one plain reason. Irunom's 2 seconds a lap quicker.
Yeah, Num has to get around that. Ratchey and Stevens are really still in that little battle, although Stevens just made a mistake, so he's fallen a little bit back. Num right now in 10th position. They've got just under 1.5 seconds to get up to Kip.
1.5 seconds, and I wonder if Irunom jumps early to try and get as many drivers as possible. Back to the front of the field, though, because Stephen Van Opstal's trying to set up Sonny Kanchin. And don't go away. I'm still in the mix as well. Don't forget me. And, well, Sonny Kanchin, for the moment, angling once more, trying to find a line. But no takers then at the end of lap 7, looking for the start of lap number 8. Maybe a run into turn number 1 could be forthcoming. And, well, it's not going to be defended at the moment from Artem Korolski. There's a look then from Kanchin as he looks to go deep on the brakes into turn number 1, but he's never going to have the line to carry the momentum through the corner. That's going to be now advantage Van Opstal, and this is where Kanchin's got to test his mettle. Some say he's Hall of Fame worthy material. Right now, I say he's got to attack and defend at the same time.
So many tracks have sweeping first corners, as Sebring does here, even though it peels to the left away from the flow. Nevertheless, as doing a lot of IRT work, those are always dangerous corners to find out exactly what's going on, as the apex is ambiguous. You're not sure if that guy has found the apex or if he's leaving you room. I'm not sure if Kanchin really wants to force the issue going into one. There's probably some more places on the track where he feels a pass might be a little safer. And again, Korowski's a rookie.
Some people think that I know absolutely nothing about racing, and, well, they'll be wrong at the moment, because I did call Irunom coming down onto pit road over this lap, and guess what? He's coming and he's made his stop.
What I think was happened is he probably was listening to our broadcast and realized he was running on the back of Ratchy and Steffens and said, okay, I'll just come in and get farther back, run some hot laps. Traffic not an issue today with only 12 cars out there, so he can basically run hot laps, and he'll pass them when they have to make their pit stop.
Exactly. He's going to use the empty track to his advantage as the leading three still hold themselves in a very good position. Battle for fifth, though, that as well is on because Sarah Dove has caught Bjorn de Forsch, and de Forsch now under pressure.
Got to admit, we're supposed to say neutral here in the booth, but a little bit of me is pulling for Sarah Dove. Not so much because I know her and she always comes in for an interview, but I just like to see women do well. I think they'd be great if they were just... Reminds me of the joke my dad used to tell that his white sheep eat more than his black sheep, and that's just because he had more white sheep than black sheep. I mean, let's get more women to drive here. They're very competitive. Sarah doing a great job.
Oh, and a little half look for a defense there from Artem Karolski at the front of the field as Kanchin was getting very, very close. Karolski was sort of half leaning for the defense, saw that Kanchin wasn't quite going for the move, decided to stay out. Now, this is where Sonny Kanchin needs to consolidate his stop, because last time out at Suzuka, he made the first bad stop I've ever seen in his career. Van Opstal looking to get into the mix as well. Again, Kanchin looks to go for the inside, but once more, he's going to be caught on that inside track, unable to get that working. It's just that momentum Karolski takes by taking the uber wide line that gets him the position. I think Kanchin has to pinch Karolski to the outside to make the move.
Yeah, and as we look at this, Dove actually got up into fifth position. She got around de Forsch. I'd feel much more confident as we look at Sarah. Oh, boy, no, she's leaving him behind. That if, for Kanchin, maybe we can go back up to the leaders real quick. This is where I'd rather see him make the pass into the hairpin, but he's too far back. But this is a more obvious, I'm here, give me room type thing. He's going to dive it down in there. Nope.
Oh, he thought about it. He had second thoughts. He got himself into position to make the move, but decided, I'm too far back. It's too early in the race to send lunges and dives and, you know, start kicking and screaming about incidents. But right now, Sonny Kanchin will happily sit and wait, as will Stephen Van Opstal, who's not battling Sonny Kanchin, but is more rather battling for points. And these points for Van Opstal will just be gold dust in his amateur category championship bout.
Numb in and out, made his pit stop, really one of the first legitimate pit stops, 16.9. Ratchy also made a stop, so let's see how that plays out. You know what? Ratchy came in early enough that Numb was not able to make up the time on the track, so Numb's going to have to do it the old-fashioned way. Going to have to pass him for real.
Pass him for real, so Irunom knows how the Bay State Hammer wants to work, but this is an even bigger challenge because that is an Asbury Motorsports machine, as we know. Sonny Kanchin and drivers like Michelle Pignan, for example, do want to work for Sonny Kanchin. Maybe it will be a tough time overtaking Tom Ratchey. Legal for position and not necessarily holding up for the sake of holding up, Soup, but certainly trying to help Sonny Kanchin by holding up Irunom.
No, it's a real position as they both made their stops. They're both good to go from here. Let's go to the lead real quick. Because Kanchin, man, he's really annoying me. He is just, I think he's annoying me as much as he's annoying Karolski is. He just keeps putting his nose in there, but not forcing the issue. I thought he was going to make a dive into Sunset. Let's see you get into one. This is the scary corner, especially in the dark. Bad things can happen here. Let's see if Kanchin forces the issue again.
We'll see if it happens then. Gap a tenth of a second, looking to the inside, and again goes for the uber inside line, and again it doesn't look forthcoming, but this time he can pick up the track off the exit. Look for the run to turn number 3, and that inside line is a lot easier at this corner compared to the last one, and he goes for the inside, and there's contact, and there goes Sonny Kanchin, and he gets a bit of his own medicine there because there was room given by both parties, and there Van Opstal moves up into second. The gap suddenly comes forth going for Karolski. Mistakes coming for both drivers now, Kanchin and Van Opstal, and Karolski's got his gap back.
Yeah, and I think Van Opstal had to, I think he might have picked up a slowdown penalty, although he's still up in second, so I guess he got away with it. I thought taking evasive action, he cut across the grass, but I guess he's going to still get to race. So they all pretty much stay where they are. Van Opstal picks up one spot, but the intervals are a lot larger now.
Yeah, the intervals certainly are a lot larger. Both drivers ran off wide, actually, at turn 5. I don't think it was necessarily going to be a slowdown penalty. Nom has got past, though, the Bay State hammer, Tom Ratchey, and did that one on the run to Cunningham Corner. So that was a good half a lap ago that he made the move. So Iru Nom comfortably down the inside of the Bay State hammer, who fought very fairly and admirably in that situation, has to be said. That's going to be very, very useful for the majority of this race forthcoming. But right now, your top 5 as things stand. Artem Korolski leads. It's Van Opstal in 2nd, Kanchin 3rd. Overgaard in 4th, Sarah Dove in 5th. We haven't talked about Stefan Overgaard here today. Part of the Workiva Kinetic team. And this Workiva Kinetic team building up from the ground up. We've seen how in the likes of series such as the Majors, they have a massive presence over multiple regions, Soup. I think that Kinetic and Overgaard understand what it takes to really work hard at the league aspect of sim racing.
Stefan been around in this series from the very beginning, took several seasons off. Good to see him back racing again. Right now, he's in no man's land. He's got about 8.5 seconds to get up to Sonny Ketchen and about 16-second cushion back to Sarah Dove.
So certainly a walking warrior. In comes your race leader, though. Artem Korolski gets the gap and decides to pit onto the lane. Van Opstal comes in. Kanchin stays out. Keep an eye on Korolski's time, though. He needed the gap, and he's got that gap, but I expect it to come down if the stop is not good. And we've seen how from time to time the stops can't be good. Kip Stevens, though, it's also down on pit road. He's had an incident, so I believe he is out of the event as things stand and has gone straight on at Cunningham Corner all on his own. That looks like he went to hit for the brakes, and then just stayed straight on. So probably some steering issues, I'd say. We saw how he got into an incident earlier on. But out comes Korolski, out comes Van Opstal, and that looked very similar from the pair of them on stops.
Hey, you can hear him clapping and pulling right now as Artem Korolski finally has a relatively normal stop. A little bit longer than some of the guys, but right in the ballpark. So, of course, there's nobody better than Sonny Kanchin when it comes to making a stop. Last race.
Except in Japan.
Yeah. Except in Japan, right.
Except in Japan. We'll just put that there. Sonny Kanchin is the king of making stops, except in Japan. But Sonny Kanchin now on his own has to time trial this lap. And really time trial this lap quick. Just looking at his vehicle, I think he does have a little bit of damage on that front right quarter panel. So I think that for Kanchin, it's not just the fact that he's got to go quick. He's got to go quick, and he's got a little bit of misdemeanors on the front, which aren't looking too pretty.
That's just a little bit of flavor for his car. Probably helps it go faster. He'll figure it out. He's awfully good at it. You know, with those guys coming in for pit stops, it should be noted that Overgaard and Sardov now race in 2nd and 3rd positions.
And for now, they will look to try and use that experience as much as possible, leading in high places in the field. But for the moment, likes of Tom Ratchey, Iru Nom, they're still looking to truck along. We've seen Bjorn DeForce come down in and make a stop. He has come out behind the group, so Sarah Dove may have to be careful in this situation, Soup. Sarah Dove may be swallowed up by Iru Nom and Tom Ratchey if she's not careful.
Yeah, she has a stop to make, and she is pretty darn smart, so I would not be surprised for her to come in before things start to heat up.
Despite the fact that she underfueled the vehicle on her last 3 pit stops?
Yeah, that's a good point. Sarah does have the distinction of being the first woman to ever lead an MWT event. She was able to run long one race and lead a lap. Racing in 3rd right now. I think she's comfortable here. I see no reason for her to be daring. She come in, make a normal stop. She should be okay. She doesn't want to jeopardize that top guy.
Sonny Kanchin comes in to make his one and only stop, he hopes, of this event. Right or left side tyres go up on the jacks, so he looks to try and get some tyres. In comes Stefan Overgaard and Sarah Dove then to make stops. Here comes Korolski, though, and out comes Sonny Kanchin. Kanchin is going to get up to speed right about now, but he's got to run that outside line. Korolski goes through, but crucially enough, look at where Kanchin is in comparison. He is within 2 seconds, so Korolski is not safe.
Korolski got him. The amateur leader, Van Opstal, did not. So after the contact that Kanchan has, he picks up a little bit either from pit stop time or just running fast laps. Let's go ahead and look at his time. His time, 14.7 in the box compared to Kowalski, 16.8. So it's 2 seconds faster and about 2 seconds faster cone to cone as well.
2 seconds faster cone to cone. Out comes Sarah Dove, and she's out ahead of Iru Nom, but Nom is in the ballpark and getting up to speed. The Bay State Hammer waiting in the wings as well. Worth noting, Gene Fiddis has come down, the Gene Genie, for a splash and dash. Not enough wishes in the magic lamp as he batters the cone on pit exit and comes out side by side with Derek Holland. So here's a little scrap towards turn number 3, but Holland's going to back out of it. The Gene Genie is a quicker man.
Gene Fiddis has been consistent all season long now, just trying to salvage a little bit, working on the back of Holland right now. Boy, Derek has been...
down the inside.
Well, no, that's Holland making the move.
Oh,
yeah, Fiddis
I
is
think,
not on his game.
Well, Fiddis has had an issue, I think, and he understands that he's had a few issues and he doesn't want to get involved in any misdemeanors later on in this one. Keep an eye, though, on the battle. Dove versus Nom. Going out on track, this one for the top 5 on the brakes into Cunningham Corner. Nom is not close enough, was unable to really hold the same sort of speed as they now make the run to Tower Corner. Nom's going to look for the easy move here. Sarah Dove, certainly respectable when it comes to racing out on track, but Iru Nom wants positions and needs damage limitation mode.
Well, Jake, you can attest to this. She has a lot of experience racing in the AOR, the Apex Online Racing League, where they invert the grid. So she is no stranger to having a top-quality driver behind her. And what I've seen her do in that league, she's fearless. So don't look for her to give this spot up. She's going to make Arrow earn it.
I wish you gave the same amount of credit for me when I had my great drive at Spa.
You were a moving blockade. You were. There's a big difference between you and her.
Oh. Yes, there is, and the obvious one comes first. But right now, Sarah Dove looking at being under pressure. Here comes Iru Nom down to the inside, looking to get that move scored complete, and complete it will be at Sunset Bend, the corner of 1,004 lines, and make sure it holds well. But look at the front of the field once more. Kowalski caught once more. 5 laps to go next time they cross the line. And for Artem Kowalski, it's hold off Sonny Kanchan for 6, well now 5.5 laps left of Sebring.
Clays finally makes his first official stop, so all those guys behind him like Num and Dove and Ratchet, they'll all be able to vulture a spot. I think it's going to sort out with Num in 5th right now and Dove in 6th.
And if these times stay the same for Artem Kowalski, I wonder if Van Opstal can get himself back into the fight for this race lead. 2.2 seconds back the last time across the line. I know he doesn't want to get involved in an incident, but do you ever take the chance and say, well, I'm not going to get a race victory too often, Soup. I can't just turn this down.
Yeah, you know, we keep talking about Kowalski as a rookie. That he's just a rookie in this series. He has plenty of experience. Now, Kowalski and Kanchan probably haven't raced together as much as Kanchan and Num have, so maybe they don't feel as comfortable together. But Kowalski certainly can drive this thing. He's got his pit stop behind him, so now it's all in his hands.
Your top 5 then, as things stands, is Kowalski, Kanchan, Van Opstal, Overgaard, then Nom. So pretty standard top 5 that you'd normally get to see in an MWT event, but right now it's all about the race lead and how that looks to stack up heading towards the final runs of this race. So the charge to Sunset Bend comes along once again, and for Kanchan, he's been eyeing up moves into this corner. He's also been eyeing up into 1, but Kowalski, we've seen they've already made contact before, and I don't think Kanchan wants to make contact again. He angled to the inside there, but the door was firmly ironclad and shut.
Yeah, Kanchan very aware of big picture. He'd like to get the win, but more important than getting the win is not getting taken out of this race and having to finish farther down the order.
Oh yes indeed. To turn number 1 then. They come along once again. Kanchan goes so deep on the brakes. I think he outbroke himself a little bit. That's cost him a bit of time trying to pick it back up on the exit. No real major time lost, but they are dropping now. Steven Van Opstal, they were starting to run quicker, 25.7s and 25.5s against the 26.1. But Opstal's going to consolidate a podium for the championship, his first podium of the season. No surprises there, but Dove fighting back now against Irunomo. Hello. Didn't expect this too much. She's not going to sit and wait, and whoa! Almost getting past Irunom. In fact, was ahead at the line, so Irunom, chance, goes a-begging.
She made a real pass. Remember that Num made the pass around her. She actually got Errol Num. I believe it's into Sunset.
Got her at Sunset.
Yeah. And then Num came back out of Sunset, got her going into one. Woohoo! That a girl!
That was a good cutback, though, from Irunom, and, well, he'll know better now to keep Sarah Dove within about half a second, keep Sarah Dove further outside of arm's reach, because the Queen of Scots is in the mood to slay heads at this stage. So, for now, Sonny Kanchin, keep an eye still on your race lead. This is the closest battle out on track, and Kanchin knows that he's just going to sit and wait for the opportune moment to pounce, because Kowalski can scrap it out and claw it with the best of drivers. He has been in and around that top 5 all season long, but Kowalski, this is his first major chance of picking up a victory in MWT.
Saw the pass on the replay. Some great camera work there from our director, Joe Peak, as that pass hand left and right there. Now we're back up on Kanchin.
Back up on Kanchin, making the charge to Sunset Bend. Of course, in an MX-5, you saw the little DRS marker boards that are placed there for the Formula 1 vehicle. Sebring, of course, one of those circuits that crops up early in the iRacing World Championship season. Not going to be seeing DRS in these vehicles today. On the brakes, into the right hand, and of course you'd see like the iRacing Grand Prix series here on the Global Sim Racing channel having a very, very nice showing as they did last season. But Kowalski again under pressure. Gap was 3.5 tenths of a second. It's now 2 tenths of a second. So here's a little look to turn number 1. Has Kanchin been listening? Pinch the man, and there's the move. Gonna let him go for now, but it's probably going to try and pick up the cutback on the exit. So Kowalski trying desperately to get the power down, trying to use the draft, not in position to do so. Now Kanchin's got to use his ability to run away from Kowalski. Kowalski's got to stay within half a second.
That was interesting, as clearly Kowalski did not put up a fight there. Wondering if he's worried about fuel, or if he just
it won't be
happy in second.
I think what Kowalski's trying to do here is say, well, you know what? I know into Sunset Bend, I want to be the driver in second position going into that corner, because I know that on a drag race to the line, I can cut your nose, cut your line, and take the victory away. I think this is positional here with 3 and a little bit more laps to go.
Boy, he must be feeling pretty confident that they can stay on the back of Sonny Kanchin, and I guess he does right now. He's only about 2 car lengths back. Here's the wisdom and the beauty about the forefathers of the MWT and the current series organizers. There is no drop race. There is no show compensation. That's really different. Kanchin can actually take off for his sister's wedding and not be crushed. But because you cannot drop a race, anything that happens on the racetrack counts right now. That's why Kanchin has to be careful. There's drama in this right now. If there's a mistake, if these 2 cars get together, Sonny could lose his chance for his 4th championship.
He could lose that chance, but of course he knows that Irunom's in 5th, and 1st to 5th, especially in a reduced field like this, is a lot more points out of the cookie jar than what was expecting. So Kowalski desperately trying to line up a move here through Ullman and the Le Mans section onto this Ullman straight. And now for Kowalski, make this move. Try and think about making this move. He's within those couple of car lengths, but I think he's saving that little bit extra fuel, trying to have that ability to bite later on in this race. Into Sunset Bend then, looking for maybe that inside line that is often preferred here at this final corner, but for the moment, you can see just how much more superior Kanchin is through the corners. He's able to carry just that extra kph through the corners, and that is what adds up over a lap like this.
Well, if he didn't want to be ahead on lap 5, I see no reason to be ahead on lap 4, 3, or 2. What I think he's going to do back there, Kowalski is going to feel him out, try to find out where Kanchin might be weak. Good luck with that one. Well, find out where he might have a spot. Will it be down into Sunset, maybe into the hairpin, and then you play defense from there? Jay thinks it's going to be on that Ullman straight down into 17.
I could also have a look at turn number 1 because it took 3 stamps for Sonny Kanchin to get through that corner and runs a little bit wide as well, coming out of 5. So maybe a run to 7 as they head through turn number 6. Maybe could be some bread and butter basics for Artem Kurolski. He moves within a 1/10 of a second, but decides, no, I don't want to make the move. Or do I? I'm going to psych you out then on the brakes into the next right-hander. Not going to happen just yet. Nice little battle going through Sunset Bend as well, further back. Keep an eye on this. This is Holland going at it with Clays.
Remember, they got together on the very first lap before Clays even served a stop-and-go penalty. I got a feeling that maybe a penalty is coming his way, and he's already up on the penalty charts right now. If he picks up another one here, we may not be seeing this guy till next season. Steve makes the pass clean.
And a lot of room given from Derek Holland. He wanted no piece of the ace of spades. I fold, and I will give you the pot. So that's how things stand. Back to the front of the field, though. And you're starting to see here the new updates coming in from iRacing. You're seeing grooves now, tyre tracks when you run wide. And that's one of the few things that I do love about this new iRacing build.
And how about MWT scheduling a night race right after iRacing puts out the bloom effect? You'll see a little bit of glow off the headlights and on some of the things that are shining out there. It gives a little more realistic look. There you go, perfect view of it right there as they come right at you.
Oh, how marvellous, darling, as they look to push on. Popsicle sticks will come in the air with 2 laps to go at Sebring International Raceway. And for now, Sonny Kanchin's had that lead for the last couple of laps. Artem Kurolski sitting and waiting. But the big question becomes, Artem's got to go make a move instead of having to defend a move. So for now, I'd say Kanchin always has the advantage being the leading driver because he has that ability to go and defend. He doesn't have to go and force the issue himself.
Come across, 2 laps to go. The Polish driver probably not going to want to make a move here.
Probably not, and does not into turn number 1. So now for Sonny Kanchin, defend maybe into 3. There's a little bit of get in my mirrors as he goes into 3. So he's never going to quite get alongside to make the move. But now Kurolski's doing exactly the same thing that Kanchin did earlier. Get in the mirrors, scare tactics come into play.
I think Sonny is cooler than the other side of the pedal. Now they head down into the hairpin. Let's see if Sonny leaves that inside line open for Kurolski to make a dive down in there. Yeah, he's going to do it. He's going to cross. The Polish driver can... Nah, he's going to wait.
He is certainly going to wait then as they look for opportunity. It does not knock just yet for Artem Kurolski. There isn't really any other battle on circuit apart from the Holland Clays battle, which is still continuing side by side as they make the run to turn number 1. Holland tucks back into line. Clays goes defensive then slightly on the run to turn number 1 as Holland looks to go for that inside. No chance for a back marker review. Not too many drivers available, but still close. No cigars for Holland, who starts to get a little bit sideways and runs almost wide.
With only 12 drivers out on the track, there are no back markers here. Everybody on the lead lap.
No back markers, and that much is very, very true. But we stay with Kanchin versus Kurolski for the moment. Soup, pick a winner.
Oh, boy, my heart wants a new winner from the Polish driver. My head tells me that there's no way that a 3-time champion is going to get past. Let's go with the head. Oh, let's go with another part of my body. I'm going to take Steven Van Opstel. I'm going with my gut. These guys are going to get together and Van Opstel steals the win.
That's going to be very bold, but remember the last time you picked your head, Soup, you said there is no way that Sonny Kanchin can go on the fuel that he's got. And lo and behold, every time you said that, Sonny Kanchin went and finished the race and won the race as well. But now, this is a completely different challenge. Kurolski thinking about the inside and not quite getting it just yet. White flag will fly at Sebring International Raceway. 6 more kilometers to go. 17 more turns. 1 final lap's worth of action in Florida to turn number 1. This is one of the overtaking opportunities under the Chevrolet footbridge. No chance just yet then for Artem Kurolski. His other best opportunities is maybe turn number 7, maybe a run up to Cunningham and Tower, and then you've got the chance at Sunset Bend, which is always an opportunity. On the brakes into 3, not going to quite have that chance to make the moves. They now head through the sweepers. 4, and then the long turn number 5. Kanchan's made a couple of errors already here today, and look at that. He gets 2 tyres out into the dirt, and that may just give an opportunity then for Kowalski to close this one down as they make the run to 7. Does Kanchan defend this one? Oh, you bet he does. He goes uber defensive. Now to the outside you look, Mr. Kowalski, as he looks to go through the pole versus the Aussie, and now looking to set the run up off of the exit, get better, superior overdrive as he now makes the move towards the Fangio chicane and now towards Cunningham. So through the Fangio chicane, tucked underneath, looking for the inside, defended once more by Sonny Kanchan as they make the charge to the right-hander at Cunningham corner. On the brakes, again, looking to prise open Pandora's box, but not quite finding the key that unleashes the opportunity amongst the world. But now for Kowalski, looking at Tower, maybe a dive down at Tower, not going to be close enough. There's only 2 opportunities left. One's into Ullman, and not many people get that right. And then there's Sunset Bend that comes along. I do mean Le Mans for the first overtaking opportunity. So here looks Kowalski, looking for maybe a chance to set the run up. For Kanchan, he's been defending from the front, but there's one chance left, and Kowalski deliberately says, I can't make the move here. I've got to make it at the final corner, Sunset Bend. How's his run? It doesn't look brilliant for the moment, but he'll pick it up off the exit. Then he'll use the toe to his advantage. It seems a little bit too far back at the moment, and already hard defensive line from Sonny Kanchan. It's got to be the long way round now for Artem Kowalski. He's all 4 tyres off the course right now, is Kanchan, trying everything to force Kowalski to the outside. And side by side, we'll go into the final corner. Side by side, it remains. Can Kowalski pick the run up off the exit? The answer is going to be no, because it is going to be Sonny Kanchan who maximises the pain for Iru Nom and wins here at Sebring, holding off a good stern challenge from Artem Kowalski, who gave away the victory with 5 laps to go. Third will go to Van Opstal, whose only mistake in this race today was failing to make a good start, with Iru Nom in 5th position, not forgetting Overguard, and Iru Nom has thrown away an opportunity by jumping the start here today, Sue.
Beneath the fireworks, Sarah Dove's going to bring it home in 6. Tom Ratchie, the orange Porsche, all these cars on the lead lap.
Oh, it's been a spin. That's Clays. And Steve Clays all on his own. No contact there, Soup. He was under pressure from Holland, and he just lost it through the 3rd to last corner. Massive, massive slide.
Been a rough day for Steve. I think he's far enough ahead that Gene Fittis is not going to get him. Fittis is going to be the last car on the lead lap, coming home in 11th.
Coming home in 11th position, and a very, very good run of things as well from Steve Clay. So he's managed to get himself home, but dry. No, I think there's a few leaks in the boat as well. Everyone then looking to finish up the racing. The last vehicle on the lead lap is the Gene Genie himself, Gene Fittis, having a terrible day today. So what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen, is we're going to step aside very briefly here on the Global Sim Racing channel. When we come back, we'll be going for the post-race show, as I like to have it called, the Sim Sport News Wrap-Up. So we'll run down the entire finishing order, talk to a few drivers, and then we may just have to close up shop. We'll be back in a few. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Sim Sport News wrap-up show. Sim Sport News is one of the first dedicated sim racing news websites that covers all broadcasted series on iRacing. Ran by Jacob Tofts and Gianni Quintelier, the Sim Sport News race team competes on many official iRacing series, as well as the one you've been watching. For more information, go to simsportnews.com. And with the event over here today at Sebring, with a couple of drivers stuttering a bit, the results are as follows. Sonny Kanchin then wins out today, half a second in the end over Artem Karolski, but Karolski tried to fight from behind, which was the wrong strategy call at the end of the day. Steven Van Opstal, who started on pole position, arguably the first amateur ever to get a pole position in MWT, has finished off in third position, a very solid drive come the end, with Stefan Overgaard in fourth and Iru Nom in fifth. The Bay State Hammer, Tom Rauchi, had a quiet day in the end and would come home sixth position. Ahead of Sarah Dove, would win out by half a second, making overtakes late in the event. Bjorn de Forsch would drive a solid race to eighth, with Derek Holland ninth, and Steve Clates would round out the top 10.
Interesting that the Kiwi Gene Fittis, who's been consistent all season long, would have his worst result when the field was so small, coming home in 11th. Kip Stevens and Adam McNally. I'm sorry, did you say those ones there as well, or was that me doubling up? Okay, good.
You're all good.
Right. That was daydreaming a bit.
And for your diligence, Soup, I will reward you an interview with Sarah Dove.
Well, that's great. Sarah Dove, I am happy to hear from you. Racing inside the top 5. Unfortunately, you lost the position there to Tom Rauchi and Errol Num, of course. Boy, you're having a fun battle racing with the champion, Errol Num. Good work.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. I kind of made a mistake when coming along the front stretch. I was looking at him to see if he'd cleared me and not at the corner that was coming up. So, yeah, I kind of missed that and then got a slowdown later on. But I knew it's kind of marginal on fuel, but it was saying that I had enough. So I kept going, and then hopefully I'd get the slipstream from Euro and be able to save a bit. But then it just started stuttering on the last straight, and Tom got me.
Sorry, you've got to put enough fuel. We talked about it during the broadcast. You've got to stop running out of fuel in these races.
Well, I put more fuel in than I thought I needed. But, yeah.
How was the vision? And do you do anything special, like do you hide under a blanket or anything where you're racing? You got good vision at night.
It was iffy sometimes. I think sometimes I kind of went off the track because I couldn't see where I was going. But it's a lot different, and it's pretty fun. Unfortunately, there was nobody here, so I think I saw a few ghosts of the other drivers off the track. But
yeah, try not to follow them when they go off. I've done that. I've actually gotten lost at Sebring one time. I went off track, could not find my way back. I ended up at like a White Castle I just ordered up a burger and called it a day. Hey, congratulations on the race. We'll see you down the road in whatever event you're on GSRC.
I should be doing Absolute Beginners.
Absolute Beginners in the Delara. Hey, how do you like the Delara?
It should be the IR18 for the next 3 races to finish off the season, and then also be doing the Formula Renault Absolute Beginners as well.
Cool. No headlights. No headlights on either one of those cars, so you don't have to worry about night races.
Yeah, IR18 is pretty fun. It's really nice to drive.
Well, good. We'd love to see you always on the broadcast. Good luck to you the rest of the way. 7th place finish today.
Thank you.
I believe that's going to be her career best. Jake?
Yes, I certainly do. I do have to talk with you as well, Sue, because I did get lost, and I got lost at a worse circuit than you did, because I got lost at Lucas Oil Rallycross circuit, which makes me feel very, very silly when I didn't know where the corner was for the Joker. Either way, though, we got Sonny Kanchin joining us, race winner and surely championship leader, and what I would say is candidate in the next couple of years to be a Hall of Famer. Sonny Kanchin, another fantastic victory.
Thanks, Jake. Hey, hey, Soup and Jake. That's good. Finally, a result that I wanted. And thanks for the kind words, by the way. Looking forward to the next race.
Well, no worries at all. Let's talk about your battle with Artem Karolski, because it was a big talking point all race long. Let's first talk about the incident that you had between the pair of you just before the pit stop window. Do you feel that enough room was given on your end when you were heading into turn number 3?
Yeah, I think I haven't seen that yet, but at the time of the incident, I thought it was a bit too tight. I was being a bit aggressive, possibly just making up for last race. But yeah, I wanted to be aggressive on the onset. I want to, just before the pits, my plan was to actually pass Artem and then pit first, but that didn't happen. But luckily, nothing major happened, though. I was back in control. Bit of luck there. But I think it was a bit tight. I think I shouldn't have gone for the move, actually. Should have stayed back and be more patient. Patience will get you.
Well, racing is always a learning curve, and you can always take something away from a race. But for you, you're taking away a victory. It's going to be massively important in terms of your championship over Eru after he jumped the start today. So for you, you're looking now at going up to Elkhart Lake. You're looking at Road America coming up. Very similar in terms of length of track, and very similar in sort of the style, the nature of the corners that you expect to see. Do you feel that Road America is going to be an easy transition for you in just a week's time?
Yeah, I'm pretty comfortable with Road America. It's one of my top 3 tracks there. I love to drive. So I'm looking forward to it. And the headlights were shining this race, and I hope to keep it on for the next race as well, even though it's in the day. But yeah, that's good. Just the result I wanted, Jake. And Soup, woohoo!
Woohoo indeed.
Woohoo!
Before we let you go, any shout-outs or sponsors for Asbury Motorsports?
Just everyone in the team at Asbury. It's just a bit sad to see Dory Travis missing, because he's got some commitments where he's coaching the game. And also Marcello. But Tom as well, good to see him in the race. I haven't seen where he is, but actually wanted to say thank you to everyone who turned up today. You know, it was great fun, shining your headlights on and putting your headlights on. It's beautiful, something different. So thanks to everyone.
No worries at all. Sonny Canchin there joining us, race victor overall in this event. But that closes the curtain for proceedings at Sebring. So it's time for the few thank yous that we have going around. We'd like to thank everybody at the Quality Racing Sim-dicate for organising this series and contracting with GSRC to broadcast it. I am very well aware that we sort of skipped over the Heusinkveld starting grid, but our thanks still go to Heusinkveld. Affordable simulation software and hardware are thought to be of limited use for race teams and drivers, but their simulation solutions bring professional results within reach for any race team or driver without having to compromise on realism or engineering value. They offer a broad array of products and services, such as advanced vehicle simulation software and hardware. They are able to simulate any combination of race car and track, including a full-fledged cockpit environment with unparalleled realism. Heusinkveld solutions are currently being used by professional teams and drivers in Formula Ford, GP3, GP2 and Formula 1. Now, these products are available for any professional team or driver looking for an edge in racing. Be a better race car driver and get in touch today. We'd also like to thank SimSport News for their help in sponsoring the event as well as the wrap-up show. That also coincides with the company's equipment and software that you see on your screen now that we use on our broadcast. And the original music that you've heard on today's broadcast is thanks to Eric Ekholm and Casey Lalonde. See the screen on how to contact each of them right now.
This very series, the Heusinkveld MX-5 World Tour, returns in 7 days. That's 1 week for you who are calendar challenged. We're going to be, as before previously mentioned, Road America for a full 18 laps. GSRC will be there. We hope you come along to watch. Sliding across your screen right now are some of the upcoming broadcasts, so check them out and mark them down on your calendar. If you'd like more information about GSRC, including the complete list of future broadcasts, you can find it at GlobalSimRacingChannel.com. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel and Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel. And while you're here, go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Of course you must. And finally, on behalf of the man on my right, Bill Subzan, the man behind the desk, our director, Joe Peake, And finally, the man who some say once barrel rolled an MX-5 over a B2 Spirit plane, our camera guru Dougie Beard. I'd like to thank you all for watching. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.